yeah, I have some questions for you that I'm dying to ask. So I'll ask you some and then we'll let other people. But I'm like, I'm hosting, I get to go first.
You.
I get to ask my questions first.
Sure.
Okay, we are on. Let's see. People coming in. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Austin. Hi, Jan. You made it.
Nice. Great. This is well attended. Amisha, Anna, Caro. Hi, guys. Many people that I know.
Rachel, yeah.
Yeah, Inca's back. Hi, Inca.
I sort of feel like we could maybe save the world with all the people on this call today.
I know. Probably Luciana's here. Natalie's back. Hey, girl. This is nice. This is beautiful. Sarah Kuzma is here. Sarah Harvey is here. Wonderful. Wonderful. Great. We're killing it. Hi, guys. Tell us where you're coming from in the chat. Type it in. I love seeing where everyone's coming from.
I know, it's so fun. We had Bob Roth on last week and we had, I think, 17 different countries and countless states. And it was just
That's
so cool to have people on
cool.
from all over the world.
Yep, Netherlands, Canada, California, West Village, Charleston, Cincinnati, Chicago, Florida, NYC, Montreal, New Jersey, Bogota, Germany, Argentina, London, Vienna, Southampton, a treehouse of the UK, as
I
you should
love
be.
it.
Berkshire, Berkshire, Ottawa, Boulder. Hi, Amy, I love you. Oh, God, I love you so much.
Oh, this is the best.
Valparaiso. Is that Canmore, of course? Wait,
Finland.
Anne Marie Marche. I was just talking to somebody in Valparaiso. Valparaiso? How do I say that? Indiana.
So thank you everyone for being here. I would be curious how many countries are represented today. I think it might be more. So it's so exciting to have everyone here. Such an exciting format. I've been having so much fun with this NUSHU Thought Leader Series. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. I love it. I get to talk to amazing, wonderful people like the fabulous Elena Brower, who I admire greatly and could ask questions of all day. We do it once a week. They are free. And a sneak preview of some upcoming talks. Next week, we have Christy Turlington talking about maternal health during COVID. Super important. Good friend of Elena's also. Next, Belisa Vranich on breathing through COVID, the importance of breathing.
Lisa, so good.
And then Drew Barrymore is going to talk to us about writing and how it saved her and her creative energy that has come through her new blog. And the next one is Britt Frank, who's going to talk about trauma. So a little bit of everything in the next couple of weeks. I'm super excited to talk to all these great folks. If you are interested in hearing about these talks, please go to www.nushu.com, NUSHU. Just sign up for the newsletter and you'll hear about all of them. We won't overwhelm you with emails. Okay, so before we start, I just want to say to everyone on this webinar, our answers are not important if they are not the questions you are asking. So please ask us questions. Enter it into the question. If it's in the chat, it might get lost as the chat scrolls up. Please put it in the questions. We will try and answer as many as we can. And we really want to know what's on your mind. So please let us know. Okay, Elena, it is so good to have you here with me.
I'm so glad. Base.
I admire you so much, Elena. You are one of the most generous people I know. You've been generous to me. I know you've been generous to many others. There are many teachers who talk and talk and talk and don't necessarily live what they talk, but you are not one of them. You are one of the most embodied people I know. And so it's a real privilege to have you here with us today. I could go on and on and on about Elena, but many of you already know this about her, and I really want to get to questions. So let's start.
So I just want to say one thing before I start, that for those of you that don't know, who are just coming to this for the first time, Vanessa started NUSHU to bring people together around topics that they might not otherwise learn, around health and wellness, around philanthropy, around women's health, so many different causes that she cares about for many, many years, to which she very quietly contributes. It is a great privilege to be anywhere near Vanessa and her work because she does it so quietly. She doesn't want attention. She doesn't need praise. She just wants to be a conduit between the good information and the folks who need it. So it's really nice to be here, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Elena. It's so mutual. I love doing everything with you. All right, so let's talk about, we both live in New York, although maybe you not forever, but we both lived in New York, and we know a lot of really high achieving, powerful people who know how to get stuff done.
Yes.
Set a goal, hustle, make a plan, get it done, execute. And I profess I am one of them. I am very good at executing, as are you. A lot of those people have said to me, I have this strange feeling that there's something a little off. I've gotten everything I wanted. I have lots of blessings, but there's this thing in my gut that maybe there's something else. Those people also say to me, I really want to spend time on the things I care about and not as much time on the things I don't care about. And I always say, what do you care about? And they will always say something like friends and family, right? But beyond that, often the answer is, I don't know. And so I say, well, you can't spend time on what you care about if you don't know what you care about. And so the question is, how do you start figuring out what you want if you don't have the first clue where to start?
Okay. I think the first order of business is to get writing. And it doesn't matter where you are, and it doesn't matter how much education you've had or whether you consider yourself a writer at all. I think one of the most important things I've ever done, and what I do before I start any course, offering, workshop, anything, I sit down, I surround myself with a few books that I think might be relevant intuitively, and I start writing. And I write down all the ideas that I've ever had regarding this topic, all the things that I'm thinking about that might limit me, all the reasons why I should do this, all the reasons why I shouldn't do this. And I just start offloading every single thought around this. Then, after a little while, things start to emerge. It's probably still pretty nebulous, but ideas start to emerge, outlines emerge. Intuitive topics start to emerge. Even titles, names of things start to emerge. I can't do it without writing. I might be alone in this. It might not be your way if you're watching this, but I would definitely implore you to explore the possibility that this might be a way for you to sort out, if this is your pickle, what it is that you could and should be doing in this world at this time particularly.
And is that how it happened for you? Did you have this feeling? Well, how did it happen for you? How did you find and get to the place where you are now, where you have a lot of clarity? And did you always have it? And if not, what was your path like?
I had the great fortune of having two parents who totally believed in me and were very enthusiastic about my expressions. My mom would spend money she didn't really have on art tables and art supplies and a little carrier that I still have. Those tiny acts, if you're a parent watching this, those tiny little acts where you express your confidence in your kids' capacities, even if it's, wow, that was really thoughtful of you, Jonah. I'm really proud of how you came through with that thoughtfulness just then. Those little things add up. And I had the good fortune of that. Many of us don't. Yeah. And if we didn't, and we don't have the good fortune of having that confidence kind of instilled in us from a very early age, I feel like it's very important to take some time. If this is you and you're getting this information and you think, oh my God, she's talking to me right now, you get to spend the next month, 2 months, whatever it is, just being extra kind to yourself and writing down all the things that you'd really like to do, but you feel incapable of doing, so that you can start to see where most of what you think about yourself and what's possible isn't actually true. And it was just instilled in you from an early age. that you couldn't do anything, you shouldn't do anything, and you're just feeding off of and driving with the information that you had decades ago and has nothing to do with the reality currently. In my case, my parents were, like I said, super supportive. Um, I think the only time my mother was like, how dare you do that stupid shit, was when I opened up a yoga studio.
Oh,
She thought I was bonkers.
right now you've gone too far.
I thought, all right, that's so stupid. Why would you want to be in retail? Both of them were actually really in that space. And of course, at the time, it did seem really stupid. I borrowed $35,000 from a client, paid them back within 3 months, and I had good timing. Right now, you can't own a yoga studio. When I closed it 5 years ago, it was just on the beginning of like, maybe yoga studios aren't the best idea because there's actually no way to be in the black unless you're doing teacher trainings, things like that, things with retail.
So what made you do it? What made you do it when your parents were saying, that's crazy, this is not what people do? What was that voice inside telling you?
I had to do it. There was no, it just wasn't a question. At the time, the need was so great. It was right after 9/11. It was a very particular, just like this is a very particular time, that was a very particular time. And if you were in New York at that time, people just wanted to gather together and heal together. That's all we wanted to do. And the yoga was the perfect medicine at that time. The studio was packed all the time. It was super successful. Again, it wasn't like I had profit. I was profitable, but it wasn't like I could save money, which is why I went and sought out other businesses a few years later. But wow, was it such a home to so many of us. I still think about that place from time to time. Very often I'm dreaming and I'm in that room, either on the 11th floor or the second floor, and I'm teaching a class and things come through the dreams that way. It's really funny. But after that, it wasn't long before I found other businesses that would sustain my family and keep me going. And I really I wanted to grow up and be just like you, Vanessa. I wanted to be philanthropic. I wanted to be able to just give whatever I want, whenever I want, and do it thoughtfully. I couldn't do that as a yoga teacher, and that's why I sought out my other businesses.
I love that you said that it didn't feel like a choice. I feel like that a lot. Like, this is not a choice. I have no choice. There is one path. There's only one way to go on the path. And when it's scary, I can't do anything about it because I gotta go. There's only one place to go.
That was
So I want to ask you one more thing. I know a lot of people who feel that they should be very grateful for the blessings that they have.
right.
We all have blessings. And I think it sometimes can feel like a barrier to wanting more. Talk about that place where you can acknowledge the blessings that you have. Because I know a lot of people who say, I should be really grateful. I am really grateful. And therefore, that little voice inside me that says something more, something different, something's off, gets silenced because you're not allowed to have that voice from a place of, I feel blessed.
Look, privilege is real. If we're on this call, we have it. Bottom line, you've got internet, you've got a computer, you've got speed enough to watch this recording, this meeting. You've got privilege, and you can go one of two ways with it. You can go reactive. I'm guilty, I shouldn't have it, and I'm stifled, and I shouldn't do anything else, and I shouldn't proceed or reach for any more. That's reactive. It's like Nietzsche. We're going back to Nietzsche right now. Mm-hmm. Or it's active. I have privilege, so I'm going to use it in the best way that I know how. I'm going to talk to all the nurses and doctors, and I'm going to learn what's really happening in the hospitals, and I'm not going to listen to the weird conspiracy theories. One, I'm going to also make sure that I'm giving money every week to some cause that really needs my money. Two, I'm going to make sure that I am in the learning process, not oversharing, but helping to steady other people's nervous systems instead of causing more fear and dread. These are things that we can do with our privilege, rather than think about it as something you have to react to or feel guilty about. Why not use it in a really positive, productive direction? That's my question.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. It's really important. We are in such a, we are in a place of privilege, and that's a place where we can do so much. And the paralysis can be real, but not productive.
Yeah. I mean, you can find 3 different people on Patreon to send $5 a month to for their good work on all sorts of things related to privilege and otherwise. And what a difference you will make in someone's life that their work is being supported on a regular basis by you, for whom $5 is not that big of a deal. And if it is a big deal for you, $5, then more power to you. Wow, to choose the place where you place that fund, that resource, that's a real blessing. And it's something to take to heart and think, wow, I have the power to help in some very specific direction right now. I'm going to take that power.
Yeah.
Like that.
So we've been talking, and I think that we framed the conversation a little bit about around career, right? What do we want to do? What do we want? What about relationships? How do we figure out what kind of relationships do we want in our life? How do we get there? How do we set ourselves up for them and know what we're asking for, and then ask for what we want?
I have to go to, you know that Allie is here in Santa Fe also, and she and I get to spend just a little bit of time together. And the other day I said, tell me what you taught today. And she talked about the very old place where she had people go, and she was talking about the 4 qualities of heart. And if you were on there, I'm sure you learned a great deal. But I have to go, I am now finding myself, especially here, going to a very old place inside of myself, taking hours, if not days, off of social media and just thinking about that very question, like, with whom do I want to spend my time? I'm going to actually, I think I'm moving here. And I have to make sure that this is the right thing for me. I'm going to have a handful of friends here. They're all amazing. And I'm going to have my closest relationships, my boyfriend James, my son Jonah. Is this how it's going to work? And I've had to go so far inside of myself to such a quiet, old place, as Ali says, and make sure that this is the right choice. And in that old place, when you go inside of yourself, if you're watching this and you ask, okay, is this a friendship I want to continue? And you get super quiet and you get off of all the media and you sit, you read a book, you take a bath, you go slowly. There's nowhere to go right now. And you get the answer that no, this is not a friendship that I need to pursue any longer. Good for you. You get to release it, put it in the compost bin of your emotional life. This is how we practice emotional hygiene. This is a very good thing. It's not a FU, it's a turning of a page. This time is going to represent the turning of that page for so many relationships that you know. If you're watching this right now, you will see what is most important to you. And I cannot emphasize enough the benefit of just getting very quiet, even if it's just for 5 hours a day or 3 hours at the end of the day, whatever it is, and listen. Listen for the old place and the old information that tells you who needs to be near, who will feed you, who do you want to feed. Those are the kinds of questions.
I think you put it so beautifully, to go to that quiet place. I know a lot of people who are not used to being in that quiet place, me being one of them. It's been a practice to go to that quiet place.
I know.
And I think we think of getting what we want as 20% figuring out what we want and 80% going and getting it. But I think it's like 80-20, or maybe it's 90-10. What do you think? I mean, it's like so much reflection, and then up clarity, and then the execution's easy. But the figuring it out is not easy.
It's not comfortable. I just got a question from someone in the participants. I'll call her A. And she's asking about the discomfort that she feels, the excruciating discomfort. When you do get to know yourself and your truth, what are the tools you use to ride it through? You know, I've done a lot of work with a coaching group called the Handel Group. I've derived a great deal of benefit from that group. And what I learned is I have to be okay telling my boyfriend the truth about the fact that I'm texting with an old boyfriend right now as we speak and how good that makes me feel. It has to be okay for me to share that. Otherwise, I need to change my scene. You know what I mean? There has to be a level of integrity in your relationships, in your closest relationships, especially, or the truth will be excruciating. And there isn't a tool to write it through other than tell the fucking truth. That's it. Like, just
Out,
tell the truth.
out loud to
Tell it
somebody.
out loud. You got to say it. He revealed something to me last night that was so sweet, so innocent, and he was so afraid to say it. And I was like, well, I have this thing, and no big deal. We're here. I know where you live. We're here in this very remote place right now, and it's just us. And it's so beautiful to be able to tell the truth. So to the question being asked from Miss A, um, write down the truth that you need to share. Write down the people or person to whom you need to tell it, and give yourself a timeline. By Friday, May X, I will make sure that this gets outed, sorted, and told. Very comforting.
I was on a morning coaching call with Lori last week, and we
God
chatted
bless.
about this. Yes,
Yeah,
from Handel Group,
yeah,
and I mean, I am a recovering liar.
yeah, we all are.
I was such a liar, and so my practice is every time I see something that's the truth that I haven't told anybody, some shameful little something that's hiding in some corner somewhere, I have to go tell somebody because just realizing it isn't enough. You have to go that extra step and say it out loud, and then you're free. And then
It,
you're free of it.
that's right. It just becomes stagnant energy if you don't share it.
Yeah.
You don't want stagnant energy in your body. That's like tumors.
And to those of you who are like me, come from a sort of tradition of lying where I've been taught to lie my whole life, be who other people want you to be, don't expose, hide it all. I will tell you, it gets easier.
Yes.
The first time is the hardest. It's very hard. I know, I've been there. I could practically not make out the words,
Yeah.
but the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
You could even say such a thing as, I need to share with you in a very quiet, calm space something that I am deeply afraid to say. And why don't you tell me when that is? It's not going to change anything. It's not going to be a big deal. I just need to share this with you, and I'm very afraid to say it. When is good?
Yeah.
Say it, get it out. It's okay. It's okay.
So I know you want to lead us in a little meditation. Maybe now is a good time. If you have questions, please put them in the question box. We will answer them after this meditation. And then I have a couple more questions about specific tools and ideas, daily tools and ideas that people can take with them after today. And we will do that right after. Does that make sense? You want to do the meditation now?
Perfect. It's perfect.
Awesome.
I have, for those of you that haven't worked with me yet, I am the dork student of all dork students. I always have notebooks, and I always have notes with me. And on this meditation, I have some notes. So you'll see me looking down and looking back up. I'm not disappearing. I'm right here with you. But I love my notebooks. They give me a lot of strength, and it's from many years of studying with my teachers. So here we go. Let's start by closing your eyes, spine tall. And you can just shake your hands out or shake your arms out. And with your eyes closed, it's better. If your eyes are open, it sort of becomes a show. And with your eyes closed, it just becomes energy. When you're done shaking out what doesn't belong, you can stop. If you want, you can also wipe your arms down. A lot of us are holding devices all day, and so it's nice to use the equalizing energy in your opposite hand to just equalize and calibrate all of the tech energy. You can rub your hands together even. And then you can place your hands, usually I end this way, but I'm going to start this way today, right over the sockets of your eyes. Let your fingers rest gently on your hairline. Let your hands rest very, very gently on your face. And begin to breathe a little more deeply. We'll just have your hands here for a couple moments. If you think that they're not clean, just let your fingers rest on your hairline, your hands away from your face. And as you breathe here, just notice about how many counts it takes for you to take a deep inhalation in. Maybe it's 3 or 4 counts, 5, 6, you never know. And whatever you've noticed on the inhalation, please make your exhalation the exact same number of counts so the breath is even. When you feel truly settled in your body, you can remove your hands and just let your eyes remain closed, let your hands rest on your lap. And as you breathe deeply and evenly, this is known as Samavriti. You're creating evenness on both sides of the breath. You may begin to refine it by actually creating a smooth transition from your inhalation to your exhalation, and then from your exhale back to your inhale. Body begins to feel quite balanced. All of the facets of our experiences these days, they can take us in so many different directions. For this sit, I would love to take it in the direction of gratitude. Not poetic gratitude, but actual, factual, concrete gratitude. There are people from whom we need to take a break. There are people with whom we want to become closer. Let their images, faces flash in your mind as you continue to breathe, and consider, for whom are you grateful right now? I am grateful for the people who have, with pure intention, spread lots of fear. As grateful for them as I am for my own family, for the teachers who are showing me my way, spreading light, sharing tenderness and calmness. For what and for whom are you grateful? Let their images, faces pass as you breathe here for the next few moments. When we are met with challenging circumstances, we have options as to what perspective we take. And when you consider the concept of gratitude, you realize that it really is just a perspective. It's just a way of seeing. It's an actual lens through which to look. Turn your attention now to your breathing once again, and in whatever way feels comfortable for you. Be grateful for the breath that you have in your body. Be grateful for your body, or the health of your body, or the healing that is happening right now in process. Be grateful for your mind. Offer gratitude as you recognize that your mind has so much capacity and still at times does not serve your best interests. Still offering gratitude to this function, this capacity. Now offer gratitude for this moment, this simple moment of connection, perhaps learning a little more personal information, perhaps that might be applicable to you. This moment of creativity and growth, possibility. The fact that we get to be together in this very strange and new but true way. And next, give gratitude to nature. All the ways in which nature is present around you. If she is a plant in your apartment, if she is a tree within your view, if she's the sky overhead, the ground beneath you, offer your gratitude to nature herself. Thank you for teaching us. And next, offer gratitude for the challenges in your life, whatever they may be. Your soul knowing that these challenges are all leading in a direction that you needed. Give thanks. To this day, we offer our gratitude. All the chances we have to make good. And finally, choose an aspect of yourself. Perhaps something that's hard to look at. Perhaps something that you've ignored for a long time. Perhaps a part of you that's just tender and longing for affection. And place that aspect of yourself in the light of gratitude. Take your time with it. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, bring your chin down toward your chest and connect to the abode of gratitude, your heart space. Feel how spacious and open. And then you can bring your hands to prayer and once again, rub your palms together and place them over the sockets of your eyes when you feel ready. There's lots of energy, lots of healing energy right in the center of your palms. Place them. And with your chin bowed to your heart space, begin to blink your eyes open. And slowly come back.
Thank you.
Yes, it always helps. It always helps. Sam would like to know how I differentiate between soul and spirit. At the moment, I feel like they're actually one and the same. I feel like the soul holds all of this potential energy, all of the knowing that I know is true, all the things that my little external limited self would deny. And the spirit for me is that same energy. It's the same kind of knowing that moves through all of the things that I do, all of the things that we all do. I don't know that they're any different, but I reserve the right to change my mind at some point.
I want to read a question that someone submitted. It's not on this question, but someone submitted it to me.
Sure.
JL from Connecticut is asking, I'm between careers at this time and feeling stuck. Jumping into another marketing job doesn't feel inspiring. Do you have practices or tools for soul searching? I know you talked about writing, but she says, when I journal around questions on this topic, I often face writer's block.
I would just start making lists. One of the things that I do before Simplify, which is a course that actually Vanessa's taking right now, we did a 2-day index card extravaganza where my friend Zane would ask, hi Jones, my friend Zane would ask, it's 2:09 here. My friend Zane would ask a million questions. Who are you serving? What's the service? What's the value? What are they going to get out of it, etc. And Jones, no basketball right now. I'm so sorry. So sorry. And start writing one word on each index card to answer the question. So you don't have to make anything flowery or perfect. One word answers, right? From those cards, you're going to be able to derive a lot of information about how you want to move forward. That's the best short answer that I have right now.
And the Simplified course, Elena, is beautiful. It's really beautiful. Congratulations. It's stunning.
I think we'll run it again probably in the fall, winter. something like that. It's needed right now. It's very needed. The shame, there's a question in the Q&A. How do you get over the shame of the mistakes you've made in the past? Shame is like cheesecake. I don't have shame. I don't eat shame. I don't eat cheesecake. Doesn't agree with me. Shame is not an option for me. So I don't, there's nothing to get over. I never, once I started to tell the truth, and as of 2010, when I started working with the Handel group, shame is not a factor. The earlier discussion that we had about just telling the truth, I think that's where you need to go. Just tell the truth. So there's nothing to hide. So there's no shame. Mistakes I've made in the past, I've made so many mistakes. My God, I was totally addicted to marijuana and I was smoking every day. And I could sit and wallow in the shame of that forever. Or I could say, how cute was that? I totally thought that I was cooler when I smoked. I totally thought that I was more creative and more productive when I smoked. And just see the cute innocence of that. It's so innocent. So there's no shame at all. It's just what I thought at the time. Turn the page.
Yeah, that the shame and the truth is really so linked.
For sure.
Shame survives only when it's hidden. So that's my work, right? Every time I find some shameful thing,
Yeah.
I tell somebody, I felt shame about this. I feel terrible about this part of me. And I tell someone, it's gone because it has no more power. It only has that power in the hiding.
Right. She said to me one time, Lauren, at the very, very beginning, I was so mad. She goes, you don't have secrets. Your secrets have you. I was like,
So Lauren, I love it.
oh, whoa. It was a tough one. Alicia, books I'm reading or have read that I would recommend for those on the path of deeper self and existence discovery. Around me right now, I would say this one's really tremendous. Mark Nepo, The Book of Awakening. This was in the house that I was renting at the time that I arrived. I didn't, I had a Jonah. Look how tall he is.
Hi, Jonah.
He's gonna pull my hair out now. That's Vanessa. You remember Vanessa's kids? You went and hung out with them around the block? Remember?
Remember my son who plays piano and you play piano?
Maybe, vaguely.
Maybe.
Right down the block from us, silly. He loves doing this when I'm on calls. What else would I say? I would go for any book, Alicia, that that encourages you to get more poetic about things. Those are the books I'm gravitating towards. I'm reading Tom Robbins' Jitterbug Perfume right now. Oh my God, the way he writes is so incredible. It has nothing to do with self-discovery. I mean, it kind of does, but it kind of doesn't. But the writing is so rich and I get so into it and it sort of opens up doors in my mind and my emotions that I wouldn't otherwise have opened. If you're a yogi, Nishala Joy Devi wrote The Secret Power of Yoga, and it was one of the few books that I grabbed on my way out the door when I had 12 hours to pack for I didn't know how long. I'm so glad I have this thing because it's a female take on the sutras. Such good wisdom in this book. Elena, is there moments in your life when you feel effort, when it's hard for you to do things you love, some kind of saturation? I'm not sure I know what you're saying, Marta, but I think what I would say is all the time I'm feeling like I have a choice to make between something that I want to do that's creative or more visionary, more forward thinking, future thinking, big picture thinking versus I do have to answer my email. So I just slate certain times of the day for both. So late day here, walks, hikes, big thinking. Morning here, calls, emails, granular. It's that simple. I can't really get freaked out about what's happening when, so I just make a schedule and I stick to it, and that helps me a lot.
I want to point out one in the chat, Elena, which I think is interesting. How do you get over fear in putting yourself out there for a new career? Let's talk about fear. What about that thing like, I always try to tell myself fear and excitement feels the same in my body. I'm going to choose excitement. But how do you cope with fear?
I'm afraid all the time, every day before every single call. And I sit down and wash my face. I put the oil on and I get, spray something. I put my little, and I just do what's needed. I don't really, it's kind of like shame. I don't really entertain fear for too long. There are moments where I've sat at dinner here, the 40-somethingth night in a row that we're cooking dinner here and sitting at the same table. And I've said, I'm afraid about the future. I'm afraid that I don't know what's happening. I'm afraid. And I'll say it out loud. And similar to what you're saying, Vanessa, if you're afraid of something or if something has you gripped and you speak it, it loosens its hold a little bit. And that's really helpful to me. Really helpful. Yes, my love.
Where's the cheese grater?
Cheese grater is stove, right side, near where all the mixing bowls are, on the right side in the back there. Real life happening.
Every day. New world.
How about regrets of your life? How your life could have gone if you'd made different decisions. There are so many of those. I could have made different decisions and gone in different directions. I don't think about them. Not a good way to spend my time. Just not. How do you balance living in the perfect world? This is Brian. Living in the perfect world of Zen. I do not live in a perfect world of Zen, as you can see. Where mind, body, and spirit are in harmony, almost a fantasy. Yeah, it's totally a fantasy. There's no perfect world, Brian. There is no perfect world. There are well-designed moments where when I wake up in the morning at 6 o'clock here and I sit with my mala and I listen to the birds and I watch the sun, those are great moments. That's enough. And then there's real life happening where, oh my God, we have to apply to another school. We have to find out if I can get the money back for the first school. We have to get a doctor's note. I could let it go crazy right now.
Elena, do you ever have if I could just go sit in a cave fantasy?
Nah, I don't like it in caves. I like it here because I can have a lot more quiet than in the city. And there's something to be said for that for my system. But that doesn't interest me. I have enough time by myself that I don't need that. I might want that when I'm older.
It took me a while to reconcile I have to find this life within the life I have.
Yeah. But you can. It's just a matter of waking up a little earlier.
Yeah, you can.
I don't like the idea of going to sleep a little later. That used to be a thing for me. It doesn't work for me anymore. Wake up earlier is better. I think go to sleep earlier, actually. Read more books. That feels really good to me too. Take in very deliberate understandings crafted by someone who really was conscious of crafting it. That's feeding me.
It's actually something I see in you, Elena, is that you get so much done, but it's not busyness. It's not hectic. There's no busyness. There's ease. How do you achieve that?
Well, there are definitely, just a few minutes before this call, Jonah really wanted to play basketball with me. We have a basketball hoop here in the kitchen. You see it?
Yep. Nice.
It's awesome. And I'm getting really good. So I promised him I would play at least once a day. Now I'm up to like 2 or 3 times a day. And he really wanted to play before this. And I was like, no, I really have to get my shit together. And in that moment, I'm always just a little split, like, oh, maybe I should just play with the kid. I have 3 minutes. But really, I just want to do a good job. Those are the moments where I question, what's the right thing? What's the right thing? What's the right thing? Can I show you? You're really funny right now.
Just check it out.
But those are the real moments and you just have to do your best and do what you think is right in the moment. And then, after this is over, I have a half an hour, no, I have 10 minutes before his piano lesson, so I can play a game to 3 or to 2.
Or to 0 because I'm making mac and cheese.
Oh, you're making mac and cheese. Now I understand everything. You just have to deal with the matter at hand. Do your best. Anonymous attendee is asking, how do you know when you've met the one? I still don't know, but I met a mensch who I love. I can see him in my room right now over there. We've been together for 6 years. I have like 4 or 5 other soulmates probably in the world, a couple of whom I really know well. It's just not the right timing, like that's all. But when you do find somebody who's willing to work with you, who's willing to deal with your truth, who's willing to deal with your mask on your face, who's willing to deal with your moods, who's willing to say to you, I would love it if you would get a sexier nightgown. And you not freaking out about it. Anyone with whom you can communicate well and honestly, that's one of your ones, I think. I don't know that there's one for everybody. But I feel like that's a real treasure when you have it. What else? Do you apply any method to remember the content of everything you read? Definitely not. No, I often don't remember what I said 2 hours ago. And I definitely don't remember everything I read, but I do take amazing notes, and I have, this is my work notebook, and then this is my creative notebook. This is like, where I keep the list of to-dos for the day, and I have like 10 or 12 things, and I'll circle 3 or 4 and get them all done. And this one is where I create, and I write down things that I learned that I want to repeat / explore. That's all. I try not to have to remember anything in my head, because that causes tension in my whole body, like nervous system tension that I cannot tolerate any longer. I'm almost 50 years old. I just got to that point where remembering things is not healthy for me. Writing them down is really healthy. It's perfect.
Can you give us a couple other daily practices, Elena?
For sure. 1, design your day in advance. So when you're laying in your bed and you're first waking up, what I do is I do Reiki hands on my body, on my eyes, on my head, and I see the end of my day in my mind before it's happened as a past tense. So today I saw all of these calls going smoothly. I saw Jonah happy. I saw the hike at the end of the day after I go to the post office and do the daily post office dance because I don't have a receptacle. So I saw myself getting all the packages, all the things that I want to see happen. And then I wake up. I do my meditation.
Can you set a timer for
4 minutes. Gotcha. It's almost like it's just seeing yourself successfully accomplishing the mission before it even happens, so that you have the energy of that accomplishment prior. That's one of the best things I do, for sure. And that's also Handel Group. I used to have to email it every day to someone else and share the information and then share what happened. Did I do it? Did I not do it? But now just seeing it in my head as done is enough. And I would say also, I think there's something else to be said for creating for yourself a week or 2 where, if this is of concern to you, we did this at the very beginning of Simplify, where you look at everything you're doing, like in 15-minute increments. Well, interestingly, I just noticed that I spent 3 of my 15-minute intervals on Instagram. Is that a good way to spend my time? No. And then redesign, but you need to take like a good week, 5 days to 7 days, to just observe all of the ways in which you are spending your precious attention units, as my friend DK would say. And then choose otherwise if it's not something that you're really attached to or finding beneficial. That's another really good practice.
I want to take these last few minutes, Elena, to talk about the things you're working on, things you have in the works, and any big.
Oh, Vanessa just froze. Let's see, if you can still hear me, I would say look out for early January 2021. I will have Being You, which is a follow-up journal to Practice You, which is coming. I'm really excited about that. In the fall, I will have, let's see. Oh, good, you can hear me still, but I might be frozen. That's awesome. In the fall, I will be offering Simplify again because I feel like it's a very important way to structure and create for ourselves what we need. And then I think in probably midwinter or so, I will go ahead and, here you go.
What's the time?
No problem. You have 1 more minute to go. In the fall also, I'm going to release some sort of mentorship program for, there she is. You're-
That's real life for you. Every once in a while, I just drop off. Sorry.
It's all good. You're out there in the country too. I told them about Being You, which is coming out early next year. It's a new journal. I'm really excited about this one. I really loved making it, and all of the paintings were done at various friends' houses, weirdly, and so the writing too. Then in the fall, I'm going to release Simplify again because I think it's needed. I'm also going to do an essential mentorship program, and this is for people who are having any sort of network marketing business. Doesn't matter what your business. I'm going to be mentoring you. It doesn't matter what team you're on. I'm going to mentor you on a monthly basis to grow your business at home, because I think that's a really important way for us to do what I said earlier, which is just get to do something that you love and be philanthropic doing it. You're on 4 minutes.
Where's your phone?
I don't know what my phone is.
I want to FaceTime and.
Oh, go ahead. All right.
And did you talk about your sutras course?
Sutras course is coming. I don't even know when that's coming, but boy, oh boy, every single morning after I meditate now, Vanessa, I'm sitting for about 15 to 30 minutes and doing 1 or 2 more. It's going to be an audio course, not a video course, so that you can just take me with you wherever you go. And it's going to be very deliberately applicable sutra to life, sutra to life. How do I take this absolutely ancient teaching, super old, speaking of old, and move it into a realistic benefit in my daily life? That's what I want to deliver next. I think that's something useful for folks.
Thank you for being here with us.
You're
Such
welcome.
a pleasure talking to you. Thank
Yeah.
you for your inspiration for creating these courses. You have inspired me to embark on a project myself, which I'll tell you about at some point. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I was listening to you at one point and you said, when you're scared, just do it. And I was like, now I have you in my head. Vanessa, you're scared, just do it. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your friendship, your generosity, your wisdom, for being with us today. I appreciate it. I'm
Wow.
rooting for you in your basketball.
Thank
You're
you.
pro by the end.
Kill it. I'm going to keep it right now. I'm totally winning. I'm totally.
Just loved having you here. Thank Jonah for his indulgence of lending you to us for an hour. Enjoy your family.
I'm going to let him borrow my phone now, even though he doesn't have one until Wednesday.
Sending lots of love to all of you out there from here.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.